March is shaping up to be a great month for Nintendo Switch owners, with a slew of games releasing which may not, yes, be AAA for the most part, but they are showing some serious promise. Today I'm going to be taking you through 10 games that I'm excited for and a few other potential games you might want to have on the radar. My name is Alex, this is SwitchCorner, let's get started. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe, it helps the channel a huge amount, and we have reviews, deals and lists daily. If you are grabbing anything as well, consider using cornershop.gg for your eShop credit, it supports the channel a huge amount. March 9th is the big day for new releases that we know about yet anyways, with 5 of today's 10 scheduled to drop. Figment 2 Creed Valley first off has been long on my most wanted list, so it's great to see it is nearly here. The first, it was a fantastic action adventure game that I urge you to add to your watch list, as it is frequently on sale and definitely worth the time. In the first game, we were the voice of courage who had some issues overcoming negativity in a human's mind. Now though, nightmares have shattered the moral compass, so the mind is unable to function properly. We must save the day by solving problems, exploring, and then battling enemies and musical bosses. It packs local co-op support as well, and then it promises 2 states to switch between that's going to be open-minded and closed-minded. Really curious to see what they mean by that. It's $24.99 USD at launch, and I've got a lot of faith in this release. Fatal Frame is for the horror fans. We already saw Maiden of Blackwater get a re-release, which I loved, but now we're on to Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Now this was originally released back in 2008 for the Wii exclusively in Japan, so it's definitely great to see it finally getting this treatment. It's the tried and tested formula for the series, fend off ghosts with an evolving camera as you switch between third and first person, but I am definitely a fan of the idea. The story, a group of children, they went missing during a festival. They were found, but their memories were wiped. Now they return as teens and they must investigate their past and the ghosts that do attack. I'm looking forward to this one, and you can pick up the standard edition for $49.99 or pay an extra $10 for a deluxe edition. I'm not sold on that though, because it's only cosmetics and a digital art book. Session is a 3D skateboarding experience, and while we may have Tony Hawk on the system, this one's aiming for realism and something more in line with Skate. The control scheme, it's dual stick, one for each foot, and it packs an extensive list of tricks to learn and master. It's heavily influenced by 90s skate culture, and it's featuring some famous locations for fans of the sport out there. I'm hoping though that 90s influence then bleeds into the soundtrack. Rounding it out then, it features skater and board customization alongside a video editing option of your best moments. Now it has been released on other platforms. It's got a 67% average on Metacritic, where the general theme seems to be there are bugs in here, and also the control scheme, it's definitely got a steep learning curve. I'm still excited for it though, and it's $49.99 USD or your regional equivalent. There's also a deluxe edition, an extra $10, and it packs an additional park, a training location, and a slew of cosmetics. Oni Road to Be the Mightiest Oni is a 3D action adventure, and while I feel like I don't know a huge amount about it, I'm finding the coverage and the trailers this far appealing. I'm for sure personally getting a Breath of the Wild vibe from at least its style. The spin seems to be here though. We can play as 2 characters at the same time, one that leverages a club to beat down on enemies, the other to suck the spirit from their body. We are a demon warrior alongside their spirit partner. It is a smaller location from what I'm seeing, but it packs 3 locations to explore and will have a slew of missions to overcome and bonus objectives. The game's leveling as well. It seems it doesn't only reward combat, but also avoiding encounters and running as well. It's for sure piqued my curiosity, but now I want to see how it performs on the hardware, as visually I do think it is stunning. It's $29.99 USD, but you can get a 10% discount up until that launch date. Paranormasight, The 7 Mysteries of Honjo is a Square Enix release. They've been on kind of a roll recently with their drops, just top quality, and they're also experimenting with more indie-styled releases. We had an FMV not long back, now we're getting a supernatural mystery adventure at a budget price point of $19.99 USD. It's 20% off as well until March 22nd, and those are my favourite types of launch discounts, ones that are confident enough to be available post-release when reviews are in the wild. It seems to be a visual and novel experience, this one, but it's packing a bit more involvement, from investigation scenes in 360-degree environments to what I'm seeing as options during dialogue, so you can really dive into what these characters are telling you. Basically, we're looking for clues within locations and from conversations. The story, it's the late 20th century, and we are a cast of characters in the grips of a deadly curse. The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure then is one that every JRPG fan should be sitting up and taking note of. Now, I'm a big fan of the series personally, but my only warning here is it follows the offense of Trails from Zero, already available on the Switch, so if you haven't played that already, you should definitely start there, as it sees the same cast return. Here though, we will see the special support team grow with new members and duties, and they're also facing rising tensions from two neighbouring political powers, so much so in fact it's going to be impacting your team as well. It was a PSP game originally with no Western release, so this one's been long awaited, and from what I'm seeing from like comments at least of those that did play that Japanese release, it improves upon the original. Great cast and world though, so I'm definitely excited to finally play it myself. It's $39.99 USD. Flamekeeper is an action roguelite from Untold Tales, and as a publishing team recently, they've been going from strength to strength, and I think this may be their best looking yet. Isometric, it for sure has similarities to Hades, but it sees us out to restore the eternal flame that's been stolen by the creatures of a shadow. Seems to be a pretty traditional affair for the genre, multiple biomes, a skill tree to build upon, pickups along the way, but there's also this village between levels, which means you can adapt or even recover as you go. I'm curious to see if this comes at any sort of cost, because I think this would be seriously unique. You know, sure, you can rest up here, for example, but maybe in return expect a difficulty spike. It would be a cool kind of risk and reward system, though again, I will say here, I am just stipulating. It's $11.99 USD at launch, so definitely budget. And this is one where I'm curious to see performance, because I expect a challenge here from the gameplay, which in my eyes demands absolutely perfect performance. Remnant from the Ashes then is a third-person survival shooter. I've actually played this one briefly, a solid game that has me again curious to see what restrictions have been put in place to ensure that performance is solid. We also already have the prequel on the Switch, but that was originally built for VR only, but it did end up getting a conversion. Remnant though, it features support for up to 3 players and will be setting out into a post-apocalyptic world to take on monsters. That's going to be 100 enemies, 20 bosses, and it's all supported by a solid combat system. Really does make it a winner in my eyes, and it also features upgrades and multiple locations that will change with each playthrough. This is a game I've wanted for a while, but again, I'm just nervous to see how it turns out. It's definitely a more than demanding game. There's even a sequel in the works right now, but I doubt we'll be seeing that on the Switch unless we get new hardware, or sadly, it would have to be a cloud build. It's $39.99 USD at launch. Have a Nice Death then is perhaps the big game for me in March. I've loved every trailer this far, it oozes style, and it's out on Steam where it sits at a 9 out of 10 rating with near 6,000 reviews. A side-scrolling roguelike, we take on the role of an overworked death, where we were planning on a vacation, but our staff, they have other ideas and they are now running rampant. We must essentially beat them into shape. 30 weapons, spells, upgrades, it seems to have all of the elements I look for in the genre, and the boss battles, they look impressive as well. It's topped off then with this incredible black and white visual style that I am absolutely all about. It's $24.99 USD for launch. Atelier Razor 3 then is our final of the Big 10 in my eyes, but I do have a few quick shoutouts to follow this title. The first 2 entries for this series though, this action RPG series, they were fantastic. I am hoping for more of the same here. The first 2 as well, in my opinion, some of the best looking games on the Switch, they were just optimized perfectly. I believe this will be the final entry for this cast though, as we encounter a mysterious gate that threatens our home and we must now investigate. It's promising larger open locations than ever, and then keys that enhance your abilities, and I guess that's why the title of the game is what it is. It's Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key. Now when it comes to pricing, the standard release is $59.99 USD, but it definitely has some expensive alternatives. First, there's a deluxe edition, not so bad, an extra $10. That's going to be cosmetics, in-game gems, and keys for creation. But then there's the Ultimate Edition, a massive $109.99. It contains all previously mentioned content, as well as the Season Pass. That's going to be 6 updates, which includes more cosmetics, recipe expansions, additional music, and finally an additional area. Outside of that then in March, other highlights include Cannon Dancer, a retro looking action platformer, which I really do think has the potential to be something, special. There's Titanium Hound, also retro style, I'd say maybe a little bit more dated in its style, maybe more 8-bit over 16-bit, but this one, it explores the ideas of upgrades to change the gameplay. And then finally, Alice Gear, Aegis and Mato Anomalies. Alice is a 3D arena battler, though I'm not entirely sold at this point. The tagline is lovable characters with customizable gear. It's just not doing it for me. And then Mato Anomalies, no idea if I'm saying that right, but it's a turn-based RPG. I love the visual style and the idea here of traveling across a neo-futuristic version of old Shanghai. I am definitely intrigued. I just need to know more, if anything, about what to expect from the gameplay. And that's the video down. What are you excited for in March? I think we have a huge amount of potential here for a bank-breaking month, but hopefully now these titles can deliver on their promise. With that, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.